Welcome back. With fall and Halloween, it comes pumpkin carving season. Many people may not realize just how dangerous this activity can be.
We are joined by Dr. Mason Rutherford with Sanford Health to give us some tips to stay safe. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having me.
Can you tell us a little bit about the common mistakes or dangerous things that people might be doing when they're carving?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the most important thing to start out with is just having the right tool for the right job. Here we have a couple of various tools that come with a pumpkin carving kit. You can get that at your local drugstore or grocery store. Most important thing is that we're going to use these tools that come in the kit rather than using like your steak knife or your kitchen knife at home. The nice thing with these, I don't know if we can zoom in on this, but the nice thing with these tools is they're a little saw tooth, and so we're actually going to be doing a sawing type motion rather than with like a kitchen knife or a steak knife where you cut through, you might slip and injure your hand.
Especially with kids, I think it's probably so important to make sure they're not using an actual knife during the process.
Absolutely. Yep.
Can you tell us a little bit about some of the most common injuries you end up seeing related to pumpkin carving?
Yeah, great question. I think most of the most common injuries are going to be like fingers, hands, and I think what happens is people might have their hand underneath the pumpkin, and then when they go to cut, they use the wrong knife, it slips, and then they catch their finger or their hand.
Okay. Do you want to show us kind of how you would start?
Yeah, absolutely. So always make sure you're on a sturdy table, hold the pumpkin up top, and then you can also kind of grab it closer to the tip, insert it in, and if you have little ones, little kids at home, it might be better for mom or dad to go ahead and start this initial one. And as you can see, oops, you just kind of use a sawing motion, and as soon as you stop, there's no slippage. It only moves when you're sawing, so you have full control over it. And then once you're done with the pumpkin and you have your final creation, another safety tip is using a light rather than like a candle, so no flames, a little bit safer that way so nothing's catching on fire.
Well, are there any other like kind of Halloween related injuries that you're seeing often that we should warn our viewers about, stay away from?
I think there's, a higher risk of maybe ingestions. Always have that safety again if you have children looking through their candy and making sure that there's no wrappers that have been opened, and see if there's anything that's off label that you don't quite recognize. Have a healthy suspicion with that.
Yeah, and kind of, with part of this, having the kids clean it out as well could be maybe a fun part for them to do rather than the cutting in general anyway, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us this morning
for having me.
and keeping us safe when we're carving our pumpkins.
Appreciate y'all.
We'll have another check of the weather when we come back.